Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to be reviewing the renewed version of Romance Juicy Lasting Tint. They came out with 5 new shades, but they do have shades in their previous collection, including Beige Grape. And I only got Beige Grape. I wanted to compare the formulas between the two. Also, these new shades are a mixture of shades in the older formula. For example, there's going to be a mixture of Dotori and Cherry Balm. I'm going to be explaining that in the video as well once I swatch them, what shades they're mixed with. This renewed formula claims to have a see-through like gloss finish. It's also a little bit more glossy than the previous formula. Just a heads up, I did buy this with my own money, but they do have promotions. As part of the promotion, if you buy their products, it comes in with this keychain set and their glassine melting pot, which is sort of this glittery light pink color. It also comes with a mirror and these removable stickers, which are really adorable. Moving on to the packaging, it's the same size as their previous formula. However, they do have a see-through like comes in a gradient. So starting off, we're going to be doing comparison. We're going to be comparing Beige Grape. For the renewed version, they have it in shade number 3, and in the old version they have it in 25. I'm going to be swatching them side by side so you can see the difference between them. Here's a hand comparison. I have the new version at the bottom and the old formula on top. I saw some pictures online. A lot of people are commenting that the new version looks a lot lighter, but swatching them side by side in the sunlight right now, they do look quite similar to each other in muteness and shade. As you know, Beige Grape is a cool light shade, but it also works for warm tones. You sort of have this mute pink purple shade. I'm gonna apply the old formula on this side. And then this is the new formula. Alright, so I'm kind of waiting for it to oxidize and settle a bit on the lips. But overall, you can see side by side, they do look quite similar to each other in muteness and shade. It does take longer for the new formula to oxidize. The old formula, it does oxidize faster. But overall, as you see, they're oxidizing on the lips and they do look quite similar to each other in muteness and shade. They do have a very nice glossy finish as well. In my opinion, the renewed version does have more of a glossy finish. Sort of there's a crystal-like finish, similar to Clio's Crystal Glam Tint. You can see that candy-like Tanghoru gloss finish. I'm just looking at my top lip right now and there just seems to be more glossy finish for the renewed version, especially right here on my Cupid's bow. It does look more glossy for the renewed version. Both formulas seem to have a very similar finish. It's semi-blurring. I find that with the old formula, the gloss is glossy, but it doesn't last for a very long time. However, for the renewed version, the gloss finish just seems to be longer lasting. Let's go in with the transfer test. You can see on the lips as well, they do seem to have a very similar stain as well. And even on the swatch as well, they had a very similar transfer. Formulas of these two actually do feel quite the same. They have this gel-like formula. On the lips, the texture of both of these also do feel the same as well. So there's not really much of a difference. I mean, if I were to get really technical about it, I'd say the renewed version is slightly a little bit less gel-like. It's less thick, but overall they are quite similar in formula. In terms of blending as well, or stain, they're really similar as well. Alright, so moving on to the first new shade. This is in the shade 20 Juju Fig. This is a mute warm shade. It's described as being an MLBB shade. This is described as being a mixture of Jujube and Fig Fig. Jujube is a warm tone shade and Fig Fig is a cool tone shade. So you're mixing a warm and a cool tone shade, giving me, is this a cool tone shade or warm tone shade? Because there's the purple undertones similar to Fig Fig, but then you have a little bit of that warmth, but it does seem to have a little bit of a warm pink color to it. Compared to the promotional pictures, it looks a little bit similar. So it has this like fig pink brown color, but it does seem to have a violet purple undertone. It is quite strong, so you're going to see more of a violet purple undertone, but I'm assuming that the more layers you apply, it's going to have more of a fig like color. For the full look, we have a mauve rosy pink color, semi-brightening, and again, this is giving me more of a cool tone shade. It is like a little bit vibrant, so it is going to look red under some certain lightings. Although this is labeled as a warm tone shade, I'm not getting much warmth from this at all. It looks a little bit more cool toned. So at the bottom I have Juju Fig, on top of that is Fig Fig, and then Jujube. I'm not really sure the ratio, but Juju Fig does seem to be a little bit more light and brighter. It does seem to have more purple undertones as well. I'm gonna mix these up really quick. A little bit similar, but Juju Fig does seem to have more purple undertones. It's a lot more vibrant, less rosy. I have Juju Fig at the bottom, and on top of that is Pink Price from Peripera's Ink Mood Glowy Tint. Overall, they're really similar to each other in muteness and shade. I'm going with the transfer test. Next up, this is shade 21 Grape Balm. This is a cool winter shade, and this is a mixture of cherry balm and bare grape. Unfortunately, I don't have cherry balm. Very berry-like color. Alright, so for the full you can see it's a lot more bright and vibrant, and it can look red under some certain lightings because of how vibrant it is. It does look quite similar to the promotional pictures, however, you sort of have this vibrant fuchsia berry type of shade. Overall, the more they apply, the more fuchsia you're going to see. This will look really good for anyone who is cool tone. I forgot to show, but this is the stain. Surprisingly, for these renewed formulas, the stain is not as red as the previous formula. For the previous formula, you will see a definite red stain, but I find for these, they do still retain a little bit of that shade. For Grape Balm, the stain is a little bit red, but you're going to see more of a fuchsia pink stain. Really nice stain color. It's a lot easier to retouch because you're going to retain a little bit of that color, and if you want to add a gloss on top or to retouch with the original shade, you can do that as well. I don't have Cherry Balm and Bare Grape to compare and mix them, but I do have a similar shade from another brand. Grape Balm is at the bottom, and then we have Peripera's Pure Pink on top. Both are very similar fuchsia pink color. For the darker shades, they do have a better stain compared to the lighter shades in the renewed formula. So when it comes in contact with water, it does turn slightly red, but again, you're all going to see more of the shade color. For this one in particular, it's a fuchsia pink. Alright, next up we have shade number 22, Dotori Balm. This is a mixture of cherry balm and Dotori. It's described as being a cherry red color. This is a warm mute autumn shade. As the name says, you have this cherry red color. It does look a little bit similar to the promotional pictures, but this is a light version, so the promotional picture looks more like a full look, but overall it does seem to have a very similar undertone. And again, this is a mixture of a cool tone and warm tone shade, because Dotori is a warm tone shade and Cherry Balm is a cool tone shade. Again, we're seeing a little bit of a violet purple undertone. It does look a little bit more cool tone as well, but this is a gradients look. For the full look, it looks a lot more warm tone now. Gradients look, you did see a little bit of a purple undertone, but for the full, you can barely see any at all. Very warm cherry red color. It does seem to have warm orange undertones, but it's quite subtle. Sort of like this apple red color. Here are some comparison swatches. I have Dotori Balm at the bottom and Dotori on top. I personally thought that it looks closer to Deep Sangria, which is a little bit more mute, sort of this maroon color, but again, very similar in muteness and shade. So this is shade 23, Peach Peach Me. It's a mixture of Peach Me and Peach Honey Bee. I don't have Peach Me, unfortunately. It's one of their best picks. This is a cool light summer shade. Bunny's tongue type of pink color. It does look a little bit similar to the promotional pictures, but I'd say it can go a few shades darker once it oxidizes. It's probably not as light or vibrant. Very beautiful shade. It does oxidize quite a bit, so it's going to be a lot more mute the more layers that you apply. For this shade, however, it is semi-vibrant, so it's going to give a nice healthy glow. Very beautiful and flattering shade. Kind of running out of space for comparison swatches, but don't mind this right here. At the bottom here, I have Peach Peach Me, and then I have Cherry Pink. Once they oxidize, they do look quite similar to each other. Next up, this is shade 24, Bare Juicy O. Bare Juicy O is a mixture of Juicy O and Pomelo Skin, and I don't have Juicy O, unfortunately. This is described as being a warm light spring shade, and is described as being a tangerine color. Pretty similar to the promotional picture, you have a tangerine orange type of shade. So for the full, you can see more pigmented tangerine color. When you first apply it, it does look a lot lighter, sort of this pale and light orange color, but once it settles on your lips, it's going to oxidize quite a bit. It's going to look a little bit more mute. There does seem to be a little bit of a peachy pink undertone, which kind of balances out the orange in this. It does have slight yellow undertones, especially around the border of your lips. You'll be able to see a little bit of it. There's a little bit of excess product, so just make sure you blot it. The excess product, it does get a little bit stringy. I wasn't really looking forward to this shade because I'm not really into yellow oranges, or I'm really picky when it comes to orange shades. Quite flattering because of the peachy undertones. It doesn't look too yellow as well, and I do like the full look more than the gradient look. It looks a lot better than the promotional pictures. Here's a comparison swatch with Bare Juicy O at the bottom, and on top of that is Peripera's Ink Mood Glowy Tint in the shade 15. I'll put the name of the shade on the screen. When you first apply, it has this light tangerine shade, but once they do oxidize, they kind of deepen a bit. As they're oxidizing on my hand right now, Bare Juicy O does seem to be a little bit lighter. It doesn't oxidize as much as Peripera's, which is a little bit more orange. It's a little bit darker. Alright, I'm going to do my intro and outro video. I'm going to add Almond Rose in the middle. For today's pick, I'm choosing Bare Grape and Peach Peach Me. Bare Grape does look similar to the previous version, so it's always a good thing. For Peach Peach Me, very beautiful MLBB pink color and something that I could see myself wearing as an everyday type of shade. Bare Juicy O was not bad as well, but I don't really see myself wearing it compared to Bare Grape or Peach Peach Me. So overall, I do like the renewed version better because it has less of a red stain. It does depend on the shade as well, but overall it's going to have less of a red stain compared to the previous version, which is really good to reapply the shade color. The renewed version is slightly a little bit more lightweight. However, both of these do have gel-like formulas, very glossy finishes. I find that the renewed version is slightly a little bit more glossy as well, similar to Clio's Crystal Glam Tint. For their older version, it's not as glossy. Gloss finish is not long lasting. I find that for the renewed version, the glossy finish is longer lasting. I do find that renewed version does get a little bit stringy if you have excess product, so just blot that and you should be okay. However, both of these are quite moisturizing. You're not really missing out much on the renewed version. I guess the biggest advantage would probably be if there's a certain shade that you like.